How's it going, everybody? I'm Steve and welcome back to my channel. So tonight I want to do another ranking video. This one's going to be on Quentin Tarantino. Last week I did one on Stanley Kubrick, and it's really interesting because like 2 years ago, I think it was like August of 2022, I did like a tier list video, and it was it's my first tier list video and actually my first live stream. And I think one person may have chimed in the chat in that video, which wasn't expected at all. It was just something I wanted to test out, try to go live and see how that would work out. And so tonight I want to do like an official ranking because that one was just kind of a tier list is kind of all over the place, and so this one's gonna be 10 through 1. I was gonna do like my top 9 and because there's one movie that has like 2 parts, and I'm sure a lot of people will include those 2 together. But so Quentin Tarantino, he's always been critics have always loved him. I think in 2025 he's going to do a movie called the Movie Critic. I think Pauline Kael, I think is one of the critics that I think it's kind of about her in some ways. So I don't know, maybe he'll upset some critics at that point, because even his worst ranked movie is like still certified fresh in Rotten Tomatoes. So let's kick it off here. So at number 10, this one is one that I think he did basically not to appeal to critics. Basically, it was just something fun that he did, and I really don't dislike any of his movies. But so at number 10, I have Death Proof. This one was part of the Grindhouse, double feature with Robert Rodriguez is one of his best friends. They did From Dusk Till Dawn together before, and I really like the Robert Rodriguez one, the Planet Terror. I like that one actually more than this one. But Kurt Russell's one of my heroes, somebody I grew up with. With the John Carpenter movies. So it was really fun to see him. But I just thought the other one was a lot more fun than this one. But so at number 10, this one was from 2007. Has like I said, Kurt Russell, has Rose McGowan, has Zoe Bell. She's like a stunt woman, and she acts in front of the camera as well. But she's really more of a stunt woman. And it also has Rosario Dawson's in it as well. But yeah, this one's a lot of fun. But it's just really violent. It's a lot different from anything else Tarantino ever did. So I'm glad he did this. And on my tier list, I put this one just listed as fun. It's not one that really should be really up for critique necessarily, because when you do something fun like that, just you did something that wasn't going to be the critics' kind of favorite. But I still enjoy it though. From 2015, I have The Hateful Eight. Like I said, I don't dislike any of these movies really. It's I was kind of going through my list, and I think this one was a little bit higher before. But it's kind of a dark story, and it's Samuel L. Jackson, has Tim Roth, has Kurt Russell, Jennifer Jason Leigh. I had not seen her in quite a while. She was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. But this one, it's like I said, has 8 characters, and takes place in one location mainly, and some of it's kind of outdoors, but most of it's inside this kind of a cabin room, and it's really dark. It's kind of a long movie. Tarantino is really known for his dialogue. Some people love it or hate it. A lot of his movies would probably be a little bit shorter if they didn't have quite as much dialogue. But he loves exposition. He loves that kind of thing. He's a great writer. That's why, like I said, the critics really love him, and so I think everyone should check this one out. So at number 8 from 2012, I had Django Unchained. This one, it has Jamie Foxx, has Christoph Waltz, Leonardo DiCaprio. It has Samuel L. Jackson's in it as well. Really violent movie. It really doesn't shy away from the violence, which Tarantino's had plenty of violence in his movies, but it shows that period way back when the things in the South were way more violent than they are now. But this one, Jamie Foxx is really great in this movie. I think some people will probably have this movie a little bit higher than I do. I think it's one I haven't rewatched a lot, just because it is so dark, and it's just not extremely fun to watch necessarily, because Tarantino is so real in the movie. But I thought the characters that Christoph Waltz and DiCaprio played in this were really great. They just they didn't one is a good guy, the other one's a bad guy, and to be that, and I love the way this movie ends. But I think, like I said, some people probably have this movie a lot higher than I do. But like I said, it's still a great movie. So at number 7 from 2004, I have Kill Bill Volume 2, which is the one on the bottom here. This one has has a lot of Uma Thurman, has David Carradine in it. I thought the first one had a lot more action than the second one did. I love the ending to this movie for sure. The ending really saves the movie for me. I thought it was way too long. But you know, the whole story is that she's trying to get back to Bill, and you know, so that's the whole thing. But I love the way that the dialogue in that final, like the third act of the movie is. I love that way that all shakes down. And David Carradine's passed away now, so it was great that you know, the villain gets a lot more screen time in Volume 2. So at number 6 from 2009, I have Inglourious Bastards. This one's a really dark movie. It's extremely violent. They don't sugarcoat anything in this. Christoph Waltz is really great in this. I think he won an Oscar for this one and also for the Hateful Eight, I believe, for both those. So both times he worked for Tarantino, he won Oscars. So it's extremely rewarding. I think Tarantino he's never had a movie win Best Picture, and he's never won Best Director. I think he's won Best you know, like original screenplays. And he's gotten a lot of people that have worked with him have won Oscars. I think in some other movies, you know. But he's got that kind of magic touch as far as you know, the critics loving him and winning awards. He's just he himself. He's kind of like he's sort of like Stanley Kubrick now. Kubrick was much more appreciated later. I think Tarantino is appreciated now, but for whatever reason he doesn't win Oscars necessarily. His films don't win Oscars. You know, for whatever, I'm not sure exactly why that is, but like I said, Christoph Waltz worked with them twice and won 2 Oscars, so that was really great. So at number 5 from 2003, I have Kill Bill Volume 1, the top one here. I thought this one was great. It's so much action, so many more characters. They show like Japan late at night. You know, just that whole cityscape looked really great at night. Like I said, it's an extremely violent movie, and Uma Thurman's really fantastic in this, and she has like I said, a lot of the main characters in the movie appear in Volume 1. Some of them appear in Volume 2 as well. But like I said, I thought everything really worked so well in Volume 1, even though it doesn't really have a technical ending, you know, like you know, Volume 2 has. But to me, I think it's a better movie. I think a lot of people probably agree with that. You know, obviously, if I were doing these two together, they would just be, you know, 1 and 2. I wouldn't necessarily say which one I like the most if I was putting these two together. But so I think Volume 1 is so much better. So at number 4 from 1997, I have Jackie Brown. You'll notice on my list, I've got some of those the early Tarantino movies are ranked really high because those are the movies that really have left an impression on me the most, and just the ones I love the most. I thought he was I think he did become a better, you know, director later on, but I just thought the stories were so much more interesting earlier on in his career. And I love the characters. That's when he developed this bond, you know, with Samuel L. Jackson. You know, he's in this movie. He has you know, Pam Grier's in it. Robert Forster, you know, the late Robert Forster. If you watch, you know, he was at Breaking Bad. He was in some of those episodes and some of the episodes of Better Call Saul. All those, you know, he was great in this. He plays a real good guy. You know, he does the right thing in this movie, which is why you love that character so much, you know. And Samuel Jackson's it's just a real villain in this movie too. So, and, you know, I think Robert De Niro's in this as well. You know, so many great characters. Robert De Niro's nothing like he normally is in other movies, but yeah, really great in this one. So Jackie Brown, number 4. So at number 3 from 1992, I have his first film, Reservoir Dogs. Really great, really violent movie. Love this. You know, Tarantino had written some screenplays before, you know, True Romance, and did some other stuff before this, but this was his first directorial debut. You know, Tim Roth's really great in this. He's been in, you know, a few Tarantino movies. Harvey Keitel, Michael Madsen. He was in the Kill Bill movies as well. So, but yeah, this one he really left an impression. His style was definitely one that people really noticed in this one, Tarantino's style. Yeah, and love the music in this. It was the blueprint for his whole career. It really took place in his debut movie. So, yeah, Reservoir Dogs, I've got number 3. So at number 2 from 2019, I have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So this is one of the only new one I have in my top 5. You know, Brad Pitt, DiCaprio is really great in this. Margot Robbie, as Austin Butler, you know, the guy who played Elvis like a year or two later. He was really great in this movie. And you've seen the final scene in the movie, the final, like a third act of the movie. That was really great with Austin Butler. But this movie was definitely kind of revisionist history. I think I really love that. Some people I think probably didn't like that too much. But it's kind of like a what if kind of thing. What if you know, the Manson family you know, had not been successful, kind of thing. You know, or if things had kind of changed, if the story kind of, if they went left instead of right, you know, who knows what would happen. But I love the way the movie ends. I thought it was so good. You know, that period there shows that, you know, the Playboy Mansion, all that stuff. You know, I just love it. Love the you know, the actors they had played some of those classic characters like Steve McQueen. Love that. You know, Tarantino just loves that period of Hollywood, and so I thought it was a lot of fun. And you know, like I said, this movie may not be for everybody, but I think it's worthy of being number 2. So at number 1, what else could I have at this spot? From 1994, I have Pulp Fiction. This movie is such an iconic movie. Just you know, a lot of people recognize Tarantino from Reservoir Dogs, but when they saw this movie, they knew this guy was a star. This guy was going to do some really special things in the future, and so I love the cast in this movie. Just it's so crazy. It goes, the story is kind of told non-linear. You know, it has a Bruce Willis. You know, Bruce Willis is having a lot of health issues now, but he was so great then. You know, John Travolta, big comeback movie for him. You know, he was huge in like 1976 and through the end of the 70s, and off and on in the 80s had some decent movies. But this is his big comeback movie. I think a lot of people kind of forgotten about him at that point. You know, like John Travolta. Oh yeah, I forgot about him. You know, and he's so great in this movie. And Samuel Jackson again. He's worked with Tarantino so many times, and he's really great in this movie too. Just the story is kind of, you know, told non-linear. You know, it goes all over the place, and it's just it's so interesting the way he does that. The way the plot kind of breaks down. It's really great. And, you know, some characters are alive earlier in the movie, and then they're dead, and then they're alive again. It's so great. It's over the top, and I think a lot of people love this movie. So I had to put it at number 1. So thanks for watching tonight. I really appreciate everybody commenting. I've gotten some new subs from my last video, and hopefully I get some more. I'm trying to get to 600 subs. You know, I've been doing my channel really doing a lot of videos since April of 2021. So it's taken me a long time. Some people have gotten to 1,000 subs in like after doing just barely doing 40 videos. You know, they've gotten up to that mark. I'm kind of a slow learner, I guess, and I've kind of had to kind of improve. Hopefully, I keep improving. So, but if you're not you know, subscribed to my channel, please consider doing that, and please put a thumbs up on this video. It definitely helps with the YouTube algorithm. And have a great one. Thank you. Bye.